This is the 2026 Nissan Leaf, and this is the third gen of Nissan Leaf, which was pretty much Nissan's first ever all-electric car. And also, it was probably one of the most awarded cars when it was first revealed, but in today's video, we're going to be finding out if it's still as good as it used to be, or if it's even better. We're going to be doing everything from showing you guys the design, the interior, and the exterior, telling you guys the specs and history, and much, much more. So let's go. And first thing first, we need to talk about the specs of this car, because this car is powered by one permanent magnet synchronous electric motor that creates, well, 214 horsepower and about 250 pound-feet of torque. And, well, all that power goes through a single-speed automatic transmission via, well, the front wheels only. And, well, that helps you drive to 0 to 60 in 7.4 seconds. This thing looks pretty cool. The interior is relatively comfortable. It's really aerodynamic, but the only thing that's not great about it is the performance, because this is not necessarily a performance-oriented car. It's more of a 5-seater family SUV car that morphed into a pretty cool-looking Nissan. But anyways, well, you have a 0 to 60 of 7.4 seconds, and the top speed is over 99.4 miles an hour. I don't know why it's so insanely specific, but 99.4 miles an hour is the top speed. And, well, before I tell you guys anything else you need to know about this car, I need to tell you guys the one big thing for all automotive car makers in performance, because, well, the quarter mile of any car is literally the holy grail of performance for all cars, because it pretty much measures how fast you could drive from the stop to a quarter of a mile, and they pretty much time you. So you have a timer, you say go, the car drives, and then once it hits the quarter mile mark, you stop the timer. And how fast a quarter mile is pretty much shows how fast a car really is, because the car could have a 0 to 60 in 1.8 seconds, but if the quarter mile is slow, then the car will get beaten by a car with 0 to 60 in 2.5 seconds with a faster quarter mile. But, well, the quarter mile of this thing is not insanely fast, but still it's relatively good, because this car's quarter mile is 16 seconds flat, estimated. This is an actual tested quarter mile, because no one's really raced a Nissan Leaf yet, because it's so new, but, well, quarter mile estimated is 16 seconds. So it's not the fastest, but still, I guess you could say it's kind of fast for its specs. But anyways, now what I need to tell you guys is the MPG and the range, because those are pretty much the most important things for any family who buys any car. So this car's MPG and range is 96 MPG city, 110 MPG highway, and, well, smack down in the middle, 103 MPGe combined. So miles per gallon electric is 103, which is actually seriously good, but the range is, well, 259 miles. And the reason why is because this car has, well, these. So bigger tires, more trim, and overall it's just less aerodynamic than the smaller or less expensive trims of the Nissan Leaf, so it doesn't get the 303 miles of range that the regular Leaf does. Instead, it gets 259 miles of range. But still, I mean, that in itself is also relatively good. So now you guys probably think I've told you guys everything you need to know about this car. Well, you're wrong, because before I tell you guys the price of this car, which you guys are probably wondering what it is, I need to tell you guys the more important thing, which is the history. And, well, it all started in 2010 when Nissan decided to create a smaller hatchback that's also all electric. It had about 24 kilowatt-hour battery. Its range was not the greatest, only 73 miles of range, but when it was first revealed in 2010, it was pretty interesting. But then in 2011, well, the Nissan Leaf actually got the world's best car of the year, Europe's best car of the year, and Japan's best car of the year. So literally swept the world with best car of the year rating. So this thing was really, really popular. But then in 2016, Nissan upped from the 24 kilowatt-hour battery to a beautiful 30 kilowatt-hour battery. So now you had a bigger battery, and the range was not 73 miles of range. It was 103, so exactly 30 more miles of range. So that might not sound like much, but it was a humongous leap at the time, because back then, well, no one really drove electric cars yet. You didn't see all these electric Subarus and Teslas and Hyundais and stuff like that, as you see now, but the Nissan Leaf pretty much revolutionized the world because it was pretty much the first car, besides the Tesla Model S, that introduced everybody to the all-electric vehicle, or EV. But then, from 2018 to 2025, this was the biggest change in range and tech because, well, first thing first, Nissan came out with the Nissan e-pedal, which pretty much allowed you to have barely almost one pedal driving, so you could almost drive with one pedal, and it also had regenerative braking. Two, now you also had the Pilot Plus Assist, which pretty much allowed you to drive nearly fully autonomous. So now your car was pretty much almost fully autonomous and almost had one pedal driving. But then the bigger change was in 2019 when Nissan came out with a Nissan Leaf Plus, which pretty much indicated that it had more range, not more power, but just more range. It was more aerodynamically efficient because now it came out with a 62 kilowatt-hour battery, which was leaps huger than the original battery, even a 30-volt battery. So you had pretty much 3 times the size of a battery in the new Nissan Leaf Plus, and that allowed you to have a range of over 226 miles. So the range bumped up a lot. It looked more sophisticated and better overall, because the first Gen Leaf looked a little strange. And well, in 2020, guess what? The Nissan Leaf was the #1 best-selling EV in the world. From, well, 2010 to 2020, in 10 years, Nissan sold 400,000 of them, and eventually it was surpassed by the Tesla Model 3 as the best-selling EV. But for that period of 10 years, it was the best-selling EV ever recorded. And then, well, the new generation, because from 2025 to 2026, Nissan completely updated it, because check out the design. It's completely updated compared to the original Nissan Leaf. It looks nothing the same. It went from being a interesting little hatchback to a full-on crossover coupe slash thing, which looks really strange. And also, the CD is seriously good. That means, well, that's how aerodynamically efficient your car is. So that means drag coefficient. So with the CD of this car now is over 0.25, and 0.25 is an insane number. Most of you guys don't know what it means, but it pretty much means the Nissan Leaf is more aerodynamically efficient than pretty much 50% of cars on the market these days, because one of the most aerodynamically efficient cars in the world is the Porsche Taycan, Mercedes EQE, and Tesla Model S, and all of them have about a CD of about 0.20 to 0.18, and yeah, they're around that range. But this has 0.25, and this is just a regular old Nissan that you could buy for 42. I'll tell you guys that later, but it's just a regular old Nissan that you could buy for, let's just say, under $50,000. And so I've told you guys pretty much everything you need to know about this car so far, at least spec-wise and history-wise. Now, all I need to tell you guys is the price, because this car starts at $38,000. Just the base spec, Premium Plus, starts at $38,000. But this one, well, this is extra nice because of this beautiful paint, extra nice rims, and overall it's just better. So this car has a starting price of $42,000. Comment down below if you'd get this thing for $42,000. I have to check out the rest of this car to find out if I would, but yeah. So I told you guys everything you need to know about this car, at least under the hood. Now, well, let's start checking out the design of the interior and the exterior, so let's go. Okay, and so now let's start checking out this exterior, and first I want to talk about the front of this car, because this car looks 110% different than the original Nissan Leaf, because the original Nissan Leaf was kind of a lumpy hatchback type thing that wasn't really its own model. It was kind of based on another model that had an electric powertrain, so it wasn't really that special. But now, Nissan has made the Leaf something that's really cool. First, you have these really cool headlights. Now you have a completely surrounded headlight here. This one's not on for some reason, but here you have a completely stripped LED light there. So more LED light pieces there, which is also quite nice. And then you have all 3 of your square, interestingly enough, headlight. But yeah, that's also interesting. And also, another thing that Nissan has definitely brought in this car is like a lot of the line and stuff is kind of like just smooths together. Like it's really really nice because like, but it's really nice how like the entire headlight just kind of like smooths and just covers all the way across the front, so that also looks really nice. Then actually come over here because you have this really cool Leaf badging here as well. So it pretty much signifies that this model, just in case you didn't know, is a Leaf. You have nice Leaf badging there as well, which of course also looks really really nice. Then you come over here and you hop down here. You also have these nice little air intakes here, nice little lip spoiler type piece here, and then some more air intakes or grills there, which is also of course really really nice. Then also you come to the side because we pretty much checked out all of that, and first thing first I want to talk about the tires, because these tires look seriously interesting. I mean, check this out. Have you ever seen a more strange looking tire? You have like all these like connected pieces. It's kind of really hard to tell what kind of shape that is, but you have the 5-bolt tire there. It's black, like gloss black, with the extra like alloy trim all over it. Then you also have Nissan badging there, which of course is also really really nice. And these are Bridgestone tires. So these tires are really interesting. I don't know if they're as aerodynamically efficient as the other, I believe, 17-inch tires you get for the Nissan Leaf, but still they definitely look cooler. Then also you have more of that interesting LE like Leaf type badging there as well, and this is actually a charging port, so you just press it in, pop it open, and charge your car. So that is also a nice little feature. Then you come to the side and you have a nice little mirror here as well, little blinker light, and then also more blinker lights there, so that is also really cool. And then I just want to take a quick view of the side, because the side looks really interesting. It looks nothing like the old Leaf. The old Leaf looks like this. It had like a square type piece and kind of just went straight down with a little wing, but now it looks like a kind of like the Polestar 4, not exactly a sedan, but not exactly a crossover, kind of like a weird mashup of both. I think Nissan nailed it, just design-wise, of the exterior, so that is also really nice. You also have these interesting door handles here, and one really interesting thing about these door handles is that they're not like most car door handles, where they're just stuck like this and they pop in, but then you just press them and they pop open. You actually have to fully pull them out. So let me go on this side, and you have to actually pull them all the way out like this, and yeah, so that they're not exactly as high-tech as most other electric cars have those like pop-out door handles, but that is also really interesting. And then if you think that's interesting, you need to see the door handles of the back, because the back doors are really strange. Just like actually on the Toyota Prius and the first-gen Nissan Leaf, you have them all the way up here so that the car is more aerodynamically efficient. So you pop those and then pop the door open. So those handles are definitely also really interesting. And then once you come to this back, it's definitely really strange. This is probably, well, the strangest Nissan so far that I've seen. Like, not many Nissans have this type of look, because one, you have this like, the top is kind of like two-toned. You have that black with that nice like Carmen red type trim, and this is actually only for the higher trim Nissan. So the higher trim Nissan Leafs have these kind of like almost floating looking rear lights, but the regular Nissan Leaf have almost just like, it's just like these pieces just right here, so it doesn't look as strange. But I definitely like the way the higher trim Leaf looks compared to the regular one. You also have those blinker lights there, your main rear lights there as well, which also of course look really interesting. And then you also have Leaf badging there as well, which is also really nice. Nissan badging here, and then some cameras and rear lights. And just look at how like slanted this window is. Like, this window, I don't know how much like view you could get out of it because it's so slanted, but it definitely helps with aerodynamics and MPG and range, so of course that's nice. Then also you have this nice little wing type of piece here, which kind of forms out of the body of the car. And then you also hop down here and check this out. So you have more of that interesting type of trim here, like plastic bumper, but the underbody is one thing I want to talk about, because the underbody is pretty much completely flat, which helps with aerodynamics. It's not 100% flat like some other performance-oriented electric EVs, but this one, it's really flat compared to most cars, so that it makes the most of its range and MPG. And so I think we've checked out pretty much all of the exterior of this seriously cool car. Now let's check out the trunk, because, well, it's interesting. So you pop this, makes a little beeping type noise, and then open it up. It's definitely really quiet, quite nice, and yeah, so good sized trunk. you could actually reach the front seats from the trunk, which of course is quite nice. It would have been kind of nice if they had the thing like on a BMW M5, these back seats where you could just pull it and the back seats push forward, but still, I mean, I guess you could easily access them through here unless you're seriously short, but yes, that is also really nice. And you have a nice little first aid kit right there with Nissan badging, so yeah, special. And actually, so check that out, you have Leaf badging there as well, which is a nice little hint just in case you don't know what the model is. And that sticked a little bit. Then you also have more of those TV type plugs there, which is also really nice. And there's one interesting as heck thing that I'll show you guys. Not many cars have it. I've actually never seen any cars with it, but it's this. So this looks like a regular light, right? So you have to push it in. It's not the easiest, but once you get it out, you have a nice little flashlight. So you have a inside light / flashlight, which is really nice, just in case your car dies or something, or you have to fix your car in the dead of night and you don't have a flashlight. So yeah, you have that nice little square flashlight there. You also could pop this up and you could charge it with different types like USB and USB-C chargers as well, which is also really nice. And then you just power it on by holding this button down and it turns on. And also it actually shows you the battery life there. And another interesting thing is that this is pretty much kind of like a battery pack. So you pop this open, you can charge it with it, but also you could charge, let's say, your phone or something like that with it as well. So it's battery pack / interior light / flashlight. Really nice feature. So let's pop that back into place. It's a little hard, but yeah, you got it there. And so we've checked out pretty much all of the exterior, the specs, the history, and the trunk. Now let's hop inside and see if everything else is just as cool. And actually, right before we hop inside, I want to show you guys this. So, open the door up, and just like any other trunk, you press it on. So, find that latch there, but then you close it up, and you have a latch there, and pop it open. It's really nice, but look at this. So this doesn't hold itself up, sadly. Not the greatest feature, but you're gonna pull it up like that and then stick that into place there. But now we have the hood open. You guys can see it. This doesn't have a frunk. It doesn't have an engine, but it has a humongous battery that sounds a little like an engine where your engine usually be. That's really interesting because most EVs these days, the battery pack and everything, it's hidden away like under the car or more deep in the hood, and instead you have a frunk. But this is just fully open, also because it's cheaper, more effective, and also you could produce the cars quicker instead of adding a frunk. So that is also really interesting. So I think we've checked out pretty much all of the design, the exterior, the history, and the specs. Now let's hop inside and see if the interior is just as cool. Okay, so now that we're in the interior of this car, first thing first, I want to talk about this door, because overall, this interior is really, really strange. Like, just look at how the center console kind of connects with the side pieces, and how you have the different, like, glove box stuff. It's all connected into one flowing piece. Definitely really strange, but we'll go into that more in a second. But first and first, I'm going to talk about the door, because it's really interesting. I can't quite explain what this material is, but it's a really interesting type material. It's really, like, it's pretty loud when you rub your hand against it, but it's this interesting type of material here. You have nice little door handles here. They're quite small, and actually if you want to lock the car, you actually just press them like that. Or if you want to open them, you just pull them like that. So that is a really nice feature too. You also have, this is almost like perfectly integrated here, so when you roll the windows up or down, like this is almost looks like it's perfectly integrated, which is also really, really nice. Then also you have your lock and unlock buttons there as well. Nice little door handle here, and then a little storage area for your cups or anything like that. So that is also really, really nice. You also have nice speakers there. And there's actually a really interesting thing with the speakers. I'll show you guys that a little later in the video. But yeah, there's nice speakers there as well, and that is pretty much all of your door. Then you come to the center console, and you have this really nice like leatherette type trim, which definitely feels really, really nice. You have this, I believe this is called icing, they call it, or glazing, something like that, but this like or piping, it's called piping. So you have nice white piping coming across the interior. You have a little AC fan here, and actually, it's interesting, so you could pull it up or pull it down, and it's like, it almost like touches this bottom piece, but it's like this close to touching, so you have that interesting piece there. And actually, if you pull it to the side, it completely closes it. Or you could open it and it's open, so you just pull it to the side and it completely closes it. one thing that I could say isn't the greatest about that is that you can't point it, let's say, towards yourself. You can only point it this way or straight. So interesting, but also not at all times great. But then also you have this interesting little glove box here, and there's actually two glove boxes. I'll show you guys the other one in a sec, but you have actually a good amount of space in there. Then you come here and you have another glove box. You press this button here and you have it doesn't have the most space, but there's actually a little extra space down there. But so you have two little glove boxes. This is actually a nice one if you want to put anything like a watch or something. Yeah, so that's also really nice. And actually, this is just like the Volvo EX30 cross country that I reviewed. You guys could check that video out with the link in the description and also with the pop-out banner. But anyways, the Volvo EX30 had this exact same type of like center glove box. I never saw any cars before with this, and also I've never reviewed any. So that's interesting that a lot of car companies are putting glove box in the center instead of the side. But also, it's definitely really, really nice. Then also you have this really interesting center console. First, you have storage like down here. I don't know exactly how that's supposed to be too good because it's kind of hard to reach, but still it's nice to have a little out of the way storage there. You have a little 12-volt charging port there. It's kind of hidden out the way right next to the speaker, but still it's nice to have. And actually, here are some Easter eggs, I guess you could say, because first, if you look down here, you have Leaf badging right there, which looks really interesting. So you have that Leaf badging there. Then you hop up and you actually have this as well. So you see this? This is the badge on a lot of the parts of the Leaf. You have this interesting badge. It's supposed to look like a L and a E that stands for Leaf. So that is another really interesting feature. Then you have these nice little, more square type, but nice little square cup holders there as well, which is also quite nice. You can't take this oh, actually you can. So you have a little piece right there. It's kind of hard to grab, but if you want to, you can just take that out if you need a cleaner or something. You also have a nice little storage area specifically for your phone. It's a really nice area here, so you can pretty much just put your phone right there and look at it if you're on a call or something. So that's also a really nice feature. Then you come to the center area right here, and check this out. So this is a center. This, I guess you could say, is an armrest. So you could rest your arm, really good size, but then you pop it open, and you have not the greatest amount of storage. You don't have a huge amount of storage. I mean, I guess you could say it's sufficient for most people's needs, but still, it's not the greatest. Then, also, you have this nice charging pad here. You have a little light up button there, so let's say you're charging your phone, it shows if it's that red or green or orange. That's also really nice, so you close that up. And actually, wait, I just saw this. I don't know what this is supposed to be, but you have, oh, so this is supposed to be a leaf. So I don't know if we'll find more of that around the car, but I guess they have a little leaf logo that's like kind of an Easter egg. But yeah, so that's also really nice, and more leaf badging down here as well, which is also, of course, quite nice. And actually now, I want to talk a little bit about these seats, because these seats, they're not performance-oriented, so they're not supposed to hold you in place well, but they're comfy. They have a relatively good amount of plush, and you actually have also this material here that kind of holds you in place a little better, which is also quite nice. The only thing I wonder is, what is this? You have this little like piping here, but it just kind of sticks out. Interesting. Then also nice soft headrest, and actually the interesting thing I was going to tell you guys about the audio was that this. So you have both speakers all the way across the top of your headrest. Actually, the Nissan Armada actually has that, and I believe the Nissan Aria, so that's a really cool feature. So if you're sitting in the back, you're listening to music, or you're on the phone calling someone, then you have the best possible speakers, because instead of them being right here, they're right there. So that is another really nice feature. Then also, you have like camera, day, night there, you have volume, you have a rewind or fast forward, and then also you have emergency button there. And actually, a really, really interesting thing is this car's transmission, because most cars, you think they have a regular transmission that you click like this, or maybe it's right here, right next to the touchscreen, but actually here, it's just a button. So you have a park button, you have a reverse button, you have a neutral button, and then you have a drive button. And actually, I don't know why the drive button has this little like piece here. Maybe it's like not Morse code, but for like blind people. But yeah, it's interesting. And actually, reverse also has this little like type piece there, so maybe you know the difference. Then you also have more AC pieces there, which is also quite nice. And actually, coming back to the seats, I want to tell you guys a really interesting feature also, because this seats are actually not electric, they're manual. So you have to press a button up here, and you could bring it back and forth. And in order to adjust the front and back, you could adjust it like this, but there's actually 2 levers, and one, you could lift up the seat, but I don't know how you get it down. There's no way to jack it down, or actually, it's kind of hard, but you have to push it down. Okay, so it's working now. So you have to jack it down, kind of like a miniature jack, but that's also interesting. Then, another thing I want to show you guys is how this thing is laying, because you pull the first one up, and this is all the way laying down, and it's not the most comfortable. You do have like a little piece right here which kind of blocks you from having a completely comfortable experience, but still, it's quite plushy. I like that you have these side pieces, so it kind of holds you in place better if you're sleeping. But yeah, I mean, great amount of knee room, great amount of leg room. I mean, like, space overall is definitely really nice, and like on a road trip or something, I definitely recommend these seats. So that is also another really nice feature. Then also, I want to show you guys the screen, because we haven't checked it out yet, but it's definitely gonna be interesting. I've never reviewed a Nissan before. Well, actually, I've done it once, the Nissan Z, but I haven't actually checked out the screen. So press electric vehicle here, and this shows your charge limit. Oh, this is really cool. So there's something on electric cars these days where you could decide the charge limit. So if I drag it here, then I could decide that the charge limit is going to be at, let's say, 85%. Or if I drag it here, then the charge limit's at 95%. So the highest percentage the battery's got charged is 95%, even though this one went a smidge over. But anyways, that's a really cool feature that new EVs have. You also have 221 miles of range there, which is also quite nice. And then we go back, and you have Google Maps. Let's actually check that out. So let's drag it to the side. So yeah, it's, I mean, relatively quick. A lot of screens these days have been getting quicker compared to when I first started reviewing cars, because yeah, the screen, I mean, it's relatively quick. You press recenter and it quickly goes to the center. But yeah, so the screen is also relatively good. You could just, if you press that, it won't do anything. But if you press home, you have Bluetooth, you have electric vehicle like we checked out. Then you could scroll to the side, and you have device, you have apps, connections, and right now it's in guest mode because we haven't obviously bought the car, so we haven't set up anything. But yeah, you have guest mode there as well, which of course is quite nice. You go here, and you also have camera. So let me press on this camera and show you guys. So this is the top view, I guess you could say. You could also see the front view. You could see the, like, kind of a 80-degree view. You could see the sides and stuff like that. So you have cameras all around the exterior, which is really nice. Then you can see the complete view from all the cameras mixed together. You can see just directly in front of the car, and you could also see 360. So okay, so you can't drag it, but you could just press these views, and you could see the side view. Oh, so that's actually, now that's a pretty cool feature. Even though it's not like the highest quality, still it's a pretty cool feature. So you can kind of see what the exterior looks like. Even though if people walk by, it'll kind of look kind of warped, I guess you would say. But yeah, so that's also quite interesting. Let's go back there, and you could actually add stuff as well if you wanted to. We're not going to do that, but you could add more settings. So let's go to apps, and you have calculation, out of range. I don't know what that's supposed to mean. You have latitude, longitude, approximate altitude, and so you can see GPS position there, which of course is also quite nice. You can also press interior lights, and it shows like accent lights, ambient lighting here, and currently I don't see any ambient lighting. Let's turn it off. Okay, so this is all ambient lighting here. I don't know why it doesn't seem like it's turned on. Maybe let's switch it to blue. Okay, so check this out. So this is the ambient lighting at gray, right? And this is the ambient lighting at blue. Okay? Like, it barely changes. And then this is at green, and this is at orange. So you could barely even tell the ambient lighting is on. That is kind of strange, because even in like daylight, like at nighttime, you'd think it'd be better, but it's most likely not much better. Because like a lot of cars are reviewed, even in daytime, the ambient lighting, you could see it like sufficiently, like on Mercedes and Audis and stuff like that. But this, like, it's really, really faint, even though it's at 100%. Oh, actually, you could change it. So let's see. You put in passion mode. Okay, so you could actually, if you press it in different modes, it goes different colors. Now, you could see it slightly better. Yeah, it's a little easier to see now after putting it in this mode. And, yeah, you could go to, like, green, you could go to blue, and pink. And, yeah, so you could see the colors a little bit better. I don't know why, but, yeah, so that is also quite interesting. Let's put it in red, so it's in a sporty type light. And, yeah, then you also have accent lighting there as well. So that's, like, the overall lighting of the interior and also the footwells, even though it's kind of hard to see. But yeah, then go back there and go back one more time. And so that is pretty much all of this really cool screen. You also have more stuff here, though. You have electric vehicle, Nissan Connect, user profile, and a lot of the apps that were back there, they're here just all in one place. Then you also have this if you want to ask stuff like how much range do I have, or look up a food place or something like that. Then you also have like heated seats there, and that is pretty much all for your interesting Nissan screen. So we've checked out all of that screen. Now let's check out some more things. First, I want to talk about this. You have this interesting mirror here, which of course is quite nice. You have passenger airbag there as well, SOS, and then you could also turn on both lights with this button, or you could just press those buttons to turn them on. Then, also, one of the coolest things I've seen in this interior is this. So, this looks just closed, right? Like the sun actually just looks red, and you could barely see it. But if you press this, you could press it back once, and see, it goes all the way back. And actually, there's leaf lettering, upside down leaf lettering, right there. So, I don't know exactly how they do it, but you can kind of see the outline. Interesting with that. But yeah, you have upside down leaf lettering there. You can put it all the way back if you want to open it up all the way, or you can just close it up. Let me close that up, and you could actually stop at like preferred areas if you want it to be at a specific like amount of closed. If the backseat passengers want to be closed from the sun, and if you want to be open, so that is also really nice. Then also you have this, so open this up, you have sliding visor there. So yeah, you have nice visor there with a little Bentley / Audi / Porsche style light there. And yeah, then also you have like E-step mode, you have D mode there as well, which of course is also really nice. And before we check out the screen for the driver, I want to show you guys just one more thing. So I want to test out these seatbelts, because we haven't tested them out yet, but yeah, I mean, they're pretty good, but listen to this. It almost like when it's being pulled back in, it's kind of scraping against something. That's kind of weird, and you guys will hear it better on the mic so it's closer, but that is kind of strange. But anyways, now let's start check out this steering wheel and this. So first, the screen. It shows actually the exact direction you're pointing. This is not a touchscreen because the driver doesn't really need a touchscreen, but you have like northeast there, you have east there, and then north there, and that's pretty much an entire compass. You have the speed you're going, you have the range or battery charge left, you have how much mileage, you have the total mileage of the vehicle, and then you also have, so in tiny little lettering, you can see how fast you are going, kmh, and Nissan probably just switches that around when they're selling the cars in Europe, but yeah, that's quite nice to have. Then you also have park button there, you have ready, E-step off, you also have the power percentage, and Bluetooth audio, so that is also really nice. Then also, check that out, it's kind of hard to see, I don't know if the camera is picking it up, but check that out. It's really faint for the camera, but that's the floating, like, the heads-up display. So it shows, like, just the miles per hour you're going, but it's really hard to pick up for the camera. I'm not sure why, but yeah, that is also really cool. And it's actually just reflected on the window there. And then also, you have this. So the steering wheel is also quite interesting. You have Nissan badging there, nice little horn there, and then also you have the different buttons here. So this is actually like a little ball, so you could adjust stuff like, so you could adjust the setup of the screen. So check this out. You could just have MPH in the center, you could have it on the side, and so you have those two different adjustment points. This is actually just like on I believe Tesla Model 3 has the same type of feature, but they stopped having that. But yeah, so that's a nice little feature there as well. You also have your stop button there, which of course is also quite nice. And so I think we checked out pretty much all of these really cool front seats. Now let's hop in the back and see if they're just as good. And so now that we're in the back seats of this car, first thing first, I want to talk about this door here, because you have the same interesting type of material here. Nice little door handle. You have the interesting lock things. It would have been kind of nice if they had maybe like a red dot here or something so that you know it's locked, and then like a blue dot here so you know it's unlocked. Nissan, if you're watching this, do that. But yeah, still, it's quite nice. You have nice little window switches here. Pretty good sized window, and then some storage down here and a speaker there. Then also you open this up and you have a good amount of space. You could probably put a book or two in there, or a tablet or something, so that is also quite nice. You have actually these interesting. So you guys probably don't know what this is, but this material here it's pushed forward. Like the seat, it's kind of pushed forward here, and the reason why is so that let's say the seat is really, really back. Even if you're really tall and your knees are pushing forward, you'll have a little bit more knee room compared to if they're just straight down. So that is also a really nice feature. And yeah, these seats are also, I mean, they're relatively comfortable. Good amount of headroom here. So yeah, you got probably like a couple inches of headroom for me, but if you sit down, you have maybe like 4 or 5 inches. So yeah, that is also quite nice, and you have more of that nice material there. Then also you put this down, and you have 2 cup holders there. Nice little armrest here. It is a little warm, interesting. I don't know why. So that's kind of warm. I'm not sure why, but yeah, that's interesting too. Let's hop in these middle seats, and yeah, it's relatively comfortable. I mean, like headroom the same as the rest of the seats. It's not it's not the most comfortable as usual because of the like plastic in there for the cup holders and stuff like that, but still it's definitely quite nice. Then also you have these lights here. Oh, interesting. So you just tap these. So okay. So oh, you could adjust the brightness. So okay, so you press it once and it goes to the brightest mode. You press it twice and it goes to like dimmer mode. Then you press it one more time and it turns completely off. So that's also really nice. Then you also have USB-C and USB-C there. You have heated seats, some AC pieces there, and also the AC max there. So you could actually connect a TV if you wanted to. I don't know who'd want to, but if you wanted to theoretically put a TV right here, then you could, because you have a nice charger there. And also because this car is fully electric. And so I think we've checked out pretty much all of the seriously cool interior, exterior, let's help out in near the end of our video. Okay, and so now we've done everything from check out the interior and the exterior, talk about the specs and the history. Now let's come to our conclusion, because now I'm going to be rating this thing, and I'd rate this thing a solid 7.5. I mean, it's aerodynamically efficient, the range is quite good, it looks really nice compared to its predecessor, and it's comfortable inside. And I think this is a relatively good family car, not a performance-oriented car or a luxury car, but just a really good family car for the price. So I hope you guys liked this video. Remember to like and subscribe to Xaaron Reviews, and also check out my X and Instagram with the description in the link below. And also check out more videos with the pop-out banner and in the description, and I'll see you guys next time.